Hi, this is Anis from Never Stop Trucking. In this video, we will be talking about the different types of trucking insurance. There is a lot of confusion and misunderstanding about the insurance, and I wanted to talk about that. Also, if you need insurance, I got two agents here that are working with trucking insurance, and I can recommend you to them so they can give you the best deals possible. Their information will be in description of this video. The first trucking insurance that you need in order to have your truck on the road or start your trucking company, if you're planning to start one, is the liability insurance. That's the most important insurance, and that's the most expensive insurance, and that's where you start. So when you reach out to an agent or an insurance to get a quote, this is the one you start with, and other ones will follow, and usually they will put them in one packet. A lot of times you can have same insurance carrier for liability insurance and cargo and physical, but sometimes your agent will shop for deals, and therefore they might find you a different carrier, but most likely everything will be tied together through that agency. So it makes it easier for you and easier for payments as well. Liability insurance is required by law for each truck that's on the road, and FMCSA will not grant an authority to you if you're asking for a new authority without at least one truck on the policy. This insurance covers injuries or damages to other people or vehicles if you're at fault in an accident. It also will cover other people's property, private property or commercial property or government property, like if you damage a bridge or a barrier, a road, something like that. This insurance can be very expensive depending on your safety records, on your claim history. Even if you're just starting your new authority and you are a driver on that policy, they may look at different things such as your credit score and place where you live, where you park your truck, the state that you're in, your driving record, a lot of things. So expect that to be for older companies. It could be between 8 and 12,000 per truck per year. For newer companies, it could be between 10 and 20 and 30,000 a year, or even more. I've heard of some people getting quotes for like 40 or 50,000 per truck for 1 year. And then also, if you're planning to go with Progressive, just don't do that. They might give you a good deal to start, but after a month or 2 or 3, they will increase it, sometimes double it or triple it, and it will break you. So don't go with Progressive. Also, just so you know, your trailer needs to be added to the liability insurance as well. People don't know that. And that one is not that expensive. That should be around like $500, $600, $700 a year, but it has to be on your liability policy as well. Next is a physical damage insurance, and a lot of people will mix up physical damage and bobtail, and there's also non-trucking liability. So bobtail insurance, as the word says, is usually if you're bobtailing and you're using your truck for personal use, and your trailer can also be added to the bobtail insurance. So this is not when you're not under dispatch. That's the simplest, most simple explanation. Physical damage is very similar. It will cover also your truck. If you're in an accident and you're under a load, under a dispatch, physical damage will cover your truck and your trailer. Remember, liability insurance covers other people's property. Physical damage covers your truck and your trailer. So that's a simplified explanation. Most insurance agents will use either one or other term. Some of them will say non-trucking liability. Some of them will say physical damage, bobtail. This also depends whether you have a fleet of trucks or you're the only user, the only driver with the only truck on the policy. For example, our policy here is different because we are a fleet. So if you're an owner operator, you're leasing on your truck to us, to Usora Express, I might add you to our physical damage insurance, but that's different because this is for a fleet. The rates are different. A lot of things are different, but it basically covers very similar things. Also keep in mind that this insurance will usually, the physical damage insurance will usually be priced depending on the value of your equipment, of your truck and trailer, because you have to insure them separately. So let's say your truck is worth $50,000 and the insurance will ask you for the value. That's how they know for how much they should insure it for. So you say the truck is valued at $50,000, and that's the maximum amount that you can get in case that there is a total damage to your truck. You will not get more money, even if your truck is worth more for some reason. The rates go up, or you priced it incorrectly when you gave them the value. You will only be paid up to $50,000. You may be paid less for that. Keep that in mind as well. If you insure the truck for $50,000, it doesn't mean that you're gonna get $50,000 in case of a total damage. If the adjuster determines that your truck is worth $45,000 or $40,000 based on the current market value and other factors that they're using to determine the pricing, they might pay you $40,000 or $45,000. So you gotta be careful when determining the value of your truck and telling them that value. You gotta be realistic, right? You can't just go because you feel emotionally tied to that truck. You cannot say it's worth more to me. No, it's worth what the market value is. And please remember, if you have that truck or trailer for several years, every time you renew your policy, remember to lower the value of the truck, because they will go down as the trucks get older. And if the truck goes down after 4 or 5 years, the value is maybe $30,000 or less, but you're still paying the premium for the value of $50,000, and it's going to be much, much more. You're paying more for no reason. You will not get that money in case of total damage. The premium gets determined by the value. It used to be around 5% of the value of the truck per year. Now it's all over. It depends on your location, on your driving background, if you're the only driver, and if you're under a company, on their claim history and other factors. So you might see this rate anywhere from 5 to 10% of the value of the truck. So let's say your truck is worth $50,000 and the current premium that they charge you for is a 5% of the value. So that's $2,500 a year. So if you divide it by 12, that's going to be around 200 something a month. If you divide it by 50, it's going to be around $50 per week, by 52. The same thing goes for the trailer, right? So that's how that works. I got an owner operator here that's just starting to work with us, and he contacted one of these agents that I spoke to you about in the beginning of this video, the agent that I use, and he gave him a rate of 1.9% of the truck value, which is a really great rate. You can't get that. It's 2% of the value. You're not going to get it anywhere else. But this driver, he told me he had a perfect credit score and he has no debt, nothing like that. So they do look at your credit score and at your credit history for that. Next thing here is the cargo insurance. The cargo insurance is different than all of these. Cargo insurance protects the freight you're hauling in case it's damaged, lost, or stolen. So this one is required by brokers and the shippers. The usual amount for the coverage is $100,000. So when you get your policy, if you're a new authority or if you're leased under someone, they will include the cargo and liability usually in the same quote, in the same premium. Some people will think that cargo costs more, but no, cargo insurance costs way less. It's usually around $1,000 to $2,000 a year per truck, depending on these factors, and it's tied to liability. Next one is we spoke about bobtail, we spoke about non-trucking liability. The next one here is the general liability. This one is this insurance is really good to have. Most brokers nowadays will require general liability, and this is on top of the liability that you have. This could be up to $1 million or $2 million or maybe $5 million. There are a lot of scams going on right now, and people will hit trucks on purpose. They will have groups, people that they work together, or a lawyer, especially down south in Texas, in Louisiana. And there are a lot of these nuclear claims, nuclear verdicts, so-called, that and they hit trucking companies specifically. And this general liability insurance could help with that, and it could help with anything else. If there is a big claim or something, this will cover the rest of the policy if they don't have enough coverage. The next one is occupational accident insurance. This one is this is a nice thing to have in case you work with independent contractors / owner operators. They're not your employees, but this is a smart thing to have in case they injure themselves while under dispatch. This could be when they go outside, they walk around the truck or the trailer, and they just fall down. And that's considered at work injury. Or they're working on their engine and they open up the hood and something happens, they injure themselves, they climb into the trailer, they jump off the trailer, something happens. This is for those purposes. It will cover the job-related injuries, disability, or accidental death. It covers medical bills. It also gives independent contractors some income if they're not able to work, and it will give them some income just to cover some basic living expenses. It's usually not much, but it's better than nothing. And the occupational accident insurance does not cost a lot. It's this costs around $100 to $150 a month for a driver. Next one is workers' compensation insurance, or workman's comp, as they call it. This is required if you have employees, if you have company drivers and they're on W-2, they have benefits and other things. This is also good for your office people. Office people, that's really not expensive at all, but drivers are in the most expensive category out there. Out of all occupations in the United States, drivers are one of the most expensive ones to have on the workman's compensation insurance. This covers medical costs and wages if the employees are hurt while working. And this can cost anywhere, I'm going to say anywhere from $100 to $300 or more a week for a driver. This is very expensive. And usually you pay this per policy. Once you start a policy, let's say with 10 employees, you will pay that rate throughout the whole year. Sometimes they will do a mid-year audit, and just you can add or delete drivers. But in a lot of cases, whatever you have for that year as a starting number of drivers, you will pay that amount for the whole year, and that's based on their wages. They base it's a percentage of the wages that they're getting. And at the end of the year, the insurance carrier will come to your office and they will go through everything through pay stubs, bank statements, other things, and then they will determine how much your payroll actually was for all drivers, whether you hired new drivers, whether the existing drivers were deleted. And then once they have the final payroll amount, based on that, they will determine how much you owe them, if you owe them any additional money, or if they owe you money to give you back. In most cases, trucking companies are growing and they're adding more people. So in most cases, you will owe them money, and that can be thousands of dollars, and you gotta be ready for that. That can be a lot of money. And keep in mind, if you have owner operators as well, they might go after them as well to claim that these owner operators should have been paid workers' compensation as insurance as well. But that's not the case. So you have to have a system where you defend yourself, and there are forms that owner operators can fill out, and these will serve as a proof that they're actually contractors, not employees, and that depends on the state that you're in. So you gotta talk to your state or someone, or your insurance agent or a lawyer, that will help you in separating these owner operators from the employees, so you don't have to pay thousands of dollars more. Because remember, owner operators are paid way more than employees. So let's say you pay an employee like between $1,000 and $2,000 a week, they will base that rate off of that amount. But if you pay your owner operator between like $2,000 and $4,000 a week net pay, then they will base it off of that, and you're going to owe them a lot of money. There is also a reefer breakdown insurance. Reefer breakdown insurance protects perishable cargo if your reefer unit fails and the load gets spoiled. So this coverage is extra, and it's not exactly cheap, and they might, like, let's say you have 10 trucks and they're all dry vans or flatbeds, and you add a reefer unit, and you tell your agent, so I have a reefer and I need the reefer breakdown coverage, because brokers will not give you loads in most cases without that, and it's a smart thing to have just in case. Then the agent might say, okay, well, we're gonna add that, but we're gonna, because this is a part of your cargo insurance, it will be added to all your trucks, even though the other trucks are not reefers and they might not need this coverage. But some policies work that way. So you gotta talk to your agent before you do that. You gotta ask them, am I going to be paying only a rate for this one reefer, or for all of them? And that might be like $400 to $600 extra a year for each truck. And you cannot delete it until your renewal comes up next year. Then you can delete it. You can, like, if that one reefer leaves, you still have to pay for all other trucks, even though they're not reefers, for that reefer breakdown coverage. To me, that doesn't make sense, but some insurances will do that. Some of them will not, but you gotta ask them before you do it. And the uninsured, the underinsured motorist insurance, that's part usually of your liability insurance. They have it usually tied up to that, but you gotta ask your agent if that's included in the policy. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions about insurance, let me know. Also, the information how I can connect you to one of these insurance agents. They're both here from Michigan, but they work with the whole United States, and they can actually give you really good rates. It doesn't hurt to try. Even if you're in the middle of a policy right now, you can contact them, and they can help you get ready for the renewal and give you some options so you're ready for that. Again, description of this video, there is going to be a link, and you can send me your information so I can connect you with them. Thanks for watching. This is Anis from Never Stop Trucking, and I'll see you later.